And so our music booker at the time just went, look, Terry, we can't have two bands from Manchester on the same show. And I went, so you wouldn't have two bands from London on the same show? Or two bands from LA on the same? He said, well, that's different. I said, yeah, London's not had a music scene since punk. And
imagine arguing about Oasis.
Well, it was kind of like my lad over there, his mum, she broke the Stone Roses. She was there, she promoted them to radio and telly. And she brought them in off the back of, because she was also plugging at the time the Pixies, Doolittle album. She was doing New Order, Technique, James One Man Clapping, the Nana Cherry album, Raw Like Sushi, all De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising, all the good stuff.
Absolute Manchester.
well, no. So
Mount Rushmore.
Well, it was like
the best albums ever.
But if you did any of those specialist shows on the radio at that time, on ILR, independent local radio on the BBC, that was all the stuff you wanted. And so she was plugging all of that and then sent out the Stone Roses album and just told them how great it was. And, so that cut through in that way because they weren't getting any national support. In our Kev's year was Paul Hanley Out of the Fall. It's like Stella Street.
Isn't it? I'm about to say.
The local school where they used to try and beat us up, although we were outnumbered because they were co-ed. For a Catholic secondary modern, that's not a good idea, is it? St George's, that's where Marcel King got a Sweet Sensation went. First black British group to get to #1 in the charts, even though the Scousers, the real thing, try and make that claim.
Well, not on this podcast, they don't.
No, but it's not true. They did it on because the Sweet Sensation were an actual 8-piece band. The real thing were just 3 of them and session musicians.
What was the reasoning behind that?
Oh, because they wanted to have, some acid jazz. White kids wearing Frank Spencer berets and goatee beards, playing old funk music from the 70s. Acid jazz or new wave of new wave. Hey?
Did you get Oasis doing Supersonic?
Yeah.
No. But I, as a fan, I always thought you don't really need this on the word. This is
I hated it.
This is just nonsense. That's not.
And Tarquin, you don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps.
Right. And then it sort of distracted from the other stuff, and that was
it eclipsed it, so it meant we couldn't get as good a guests on because they go, well, what's the point of me going on that show when I'm going to be eclipsed by some bloke from Stoke-on-Trent eating a worm sandwich? And it's like
it was.
And I talk about this when I do the stand-up show about the word. I was always associated with the negative stuff like that, even though I hated it.
Did you revel in that though?
No, I hate no, because it was just because they wanted to attack you because you were northern, you were working class, blah blah blah. I mean, I was just like, I have 5 years of it. Right. None of it was true. Even I remember Piers Morgan doing a thing in the Sun, a double-page spread. Terry Christian, 20 of my favourite things. And it was like, what's your favourite food? Well, I like pizza. I hate pizza. Well, I don't hate it, but I'm not a big fan of it. And then it was like, I believe you're into music. Yes, I've been listening a lot to the new Jason Donovan album recently. So it was all written to make you look as naff as possible, but they would do it all the time. Remember, Melody Maker coming down when we had, I can't remember the band on now, but Teenage Fan Club were on the same week.
Right.
Mega City 4, that was it. We had Mega City 4 on Teenage Fan Club. They were 2 of the bands that week. And so in it, Mega City 4 were really chuffed about getting on the word. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a big thing for them. And so they were being interviewed about it, saying, well, why would you want to go on the word with that? So I said, well, no, there's a great picture of me with Jimmy Savile.
Oh, mate, you get that rammed on your throat.
But I did a thing. Hey, Kev, don't say that. It's getting rammed down your throat. But it's like...
There's your socials clip.
I was doing a documentary on Harry Goodwin, the Top of the Pops photographer. So we had an exhibition at the V&A in London.
Right.
And so obviously, to open the exhibition, the guy who presented the first... Because Top of the Pops came from Manchester for the first 18 months. They get Jimmy Savile to do it. So I do a quick vox pop with him. There's a press photo of me and him, and every time he does it, here's you, your best mate, Jimmy Savile. When you became best mates, you bonded in 45 seconds. And what was it like? And then what's quite funny though, when they made the Netflix documentary, I own the footage. So I had Jimmy Savile, when he gets up to introduce it with those demonic sort of reddish sunglasses on, And I sold 20 seconds of him getting up onto the podium because they didn't have any. This was only about a year before he died. They didn't have any later footage of him, and I got 1,500 quid for it.
Well, there you go.
Ka-ching.
You see, happy days. Paid worth it after all that.
Thanks, Jimmy. But they do it all the time. They go, you know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then people then post pictures of Jimmy Savile with Maggie Thatcher, who knighted him.
Oh, mate.
They never like that one.
Yeah, because I've seen you always arguing on Twitter with the Brexiteers.
Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. There's no point.
No.